LIV Duels making some major lineup changes to the UK version. Good morning. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Welcome back to the Scratch Golf Show. If you're new here to the channel, welcome. My name is Marco and I'm your host. Here on the Scratch Golf Show, we talk about all things golf, YouTube, and professional. And today we're going to be talking about the newest LIV Duels lineup that was just dropped yesterday afternoon. Some major changes. Let's get into it, but first, I need two favors from you. I need you to please hit that subscribe button below, and please hit that like button below. Both those really help the channel. Now, let's get into it. Before we get into LIV Duel stuff, this week's creator spotlight, we have the boys in the SIP. Now, Bozzy the Bull and gang are two older guys out of the Mississippi area who take a lot of the seriousness, I think, out of content. They have great Southern hospitality, but they're absolutely hilarious, yet they still have that really good quality in their content. They just drove across country from Mississippi to St. George, Utah to go take on Mo in the Battle of the Bulls, where Bozzy the Bull and Mo played for $1,000, I believe. A video that got posted last week. It's very good. As you can see, it's the most recent video posted. Drop these guys a sub. They're only at 546 subs. They make really good content and they're hilarious. And I love to link up Bozzy if you guys see this. Drive to Detroit, man. I'd kick your ass for $1,000. Anyway, let's get into it. Drop these boys a sub. I'll link their video in the description. LIV Duels talk now. All right, the LIV Duels lineup was dropped yesterday, and I think there are some glaring changes. I think a lot of us are going to notice. I'm going to talk about all of them. First and foremost, I think the most obvious: no Grant Horvat, no Wesley Bryan, no George Bryan. Completely taking out the major creators from the first couple champions in the last duels. I guess two of the last three duels with George and Wes out of the lineup. And I'm going to say this, I'm absolutely not surprised by this. I'm not shocked about this. I don't think this was something that was like dropped on LIV. I think this was probably planned well in advance, for one being two reasons. George and Wes and Grant, obviously, are always going to put their channel above everything else, their brand. That's no surprise. And as we just saw, they've just spent the first 2 weeks of July, basically, across the pond filming for their own channels. Wes and George playing in the BMW International Open in Germany and then flying to Ireland to film content for a week for the major cut. Grant obviously being there for the major cut in Ireland and being in that time, being in Europe for that time as well. So I'm not surprised that they're not flying across the pond again, basically a week later after they just got back, in order to go film the LIV Duels at JCB. It just probably logistically didn't make sense. That's a lot of time away from their families, a lot of time not on U.S. soil where they're going to be able to film content. Even if they're away from South Carolina, they can still post and do stuff in the United States. I have to imagine that's a lot more difficult when they are in Europe. So not a surprise. I assume they will be back for Chicago. I don't know, Anthony, let us know in the comments below for the LIV Duels, the last series of the last version of LIV Duels at Bolingbrook here. I think in 2 weeks is when they're recording. But no Grant, no Bryan Bros, basically taking the former champions, and I guess I don't want to say the faces, but the majority players back out of LIV Duels. But we do have some new faces. And first and foremost, I want to say I'm assuming this is going to be on Rick Shields' channel. But given his relationship with JCB, his relationship with LIV, how they've done the other LIV Duels videos, being on Bryson's, Bryan Bros, and Grant's channel, it only makes sense that this would be on Rick's channel. But there's a few things I want to talk about. Obviously, some new creators, which I'll go into here in a minute. No Peter Finch. That I am shocked about, given the fact that he was posted in the initial advertisement. I assumed, since he wasn't playing in the initial one, that the one he would for sure be playing in would be LIV Duels UK. And he's not obviously in this photo. I don't believe he was filmed on site at all for the event. I haven't seen anything on his Instagram story. So that one is a bit of a major shock for me, considering, like I said, he was in the initial trailer. No Peter Finch. So that, I feel like, is a huge loss for this specific video. And I don't know what happened. I'm assuming maybe some contractual things. I'm really curious to see how these contracts were written with a lot of these creators, given we see Luke Kwan back, but he was out of the Dallas one, which is interesting because that's his hometown. Luke said that they just wanted less teams in LIV Duels, but good to see him and Bubba Watson back in the swing of things. But yeah, no Peter Finch. I really feel like that is the major storyline here, given that Grant and the Bryan Bros are not going to be playing. But we have some new faces, new places. Micah Morris, Luke Kwan, and Evan Thompson making the trip across the pond to play in the LIV Duels UK version. And very excited to see that. If there's one thing I've learned from these photos that have been posted on the LIV social sites, is just because they're in the photo does not mean they're in the actual LIV Duels. So I have not seen an official lineup actually released by LIV. We've seen, like we said, we saw Taco, Marissa, and Alexis appear in the LIV Duels Virginia, but ultimately never appear in the actual video itself. So take that for face value. Just because they're in this photo does not mean they're going to be in the actual LIV Duels video. But Evan Thompson, Micah Morris, Luke Kwan. I know Luke Kwan is for sure playing. Luke and Bubba were on Instagram stories. Micah, I did not see any Instagram stories of him actually playing. I saw him on the range. I saw him with Rick's story. Nothing of him actually playing. So I'd be curious to see how that turns out. Evan Thompson is confirmed to be playing, and we do have some other creators, and I apologize. Some of these people I'm not familiar with because I do not film or not watch a ton of content from people in the UK. I do know the the Four Brothers. I am familiar with their work. I've seen them with JNA. We have Jimmy Bullard, who I'm not sure. Hannah Davies, I've heard of. Sophie Louis Stone, I apologize if I'm saying that right. And then I believe that's it. But yes, anyway, we have some new faces, new places with a lot of major storylines. Anyway, comment below. Are you excited for this version of LIV Duels UK? Are you going to be watching it? I'm not sure when it's going to drop, given the fact with how the other ones have dropped. I assume it's going to be probably in a couple weeks, but given Bryson's kind of was just dropped without an announcement, who the heck knows? Anyway, comment below what your thoughts are on this lineup. Comment below if you're excited for this. Have a good rest of your day. Drop that sub button. Hit that sub button, excuse me. Matt Sharf interview dropping tomorrow. Matt Sharf of Good interview dropping tomorrow, Thursday, July 24th. Anyway, have a good rest of your day. Subscribe. Peace.